a word you keep saying, or you've said a couple of times, is disappointment.
Yes.
And disappointment comes up in our lives, whether that be work, whether we're ordering something at a cafe, friends, family, whatever it might be. How do we better deal with disappointment so it doesn't get to us?
You know, it's a great question, Louise, because I think people underestimate the power of disappointment. But there's good news with disappointment. And I speak about this a lot, so maybe that's why you're asking about it. But I speak on this topic a lot because, you know, you wake up in the morning and you drive to your coffee shop and you don't get the car park you want, you're disappointed, right? It doesn't take long. It doesn't take long before this. And then they give you your coffee and it's the wrong blend. You're disappointed. And then someone turns up late that you're supposed to be meeting them for a coffee, you're disappointed. So like you can be disappointed 30 times in an hour, right? And so disappointment is just a way of life. Now, the thing about disappointment is this, and I've written this down as a statement many, many times. Disappointment is a sign of deep passion. You're only disappointed about something you really care about. So it's actually a sign that you're alive and well. If you're never disappointed by anything, you don't love anything. And there are many things that don't disappoint me because I just don't care. You know, if, you know, two teams are playing and one of them loses, I'm not disappointed because I don't follow either of those teams. So I'm not disappointed because I don't care. So disappointment is a sign that you are alive and well, right? But disappointment, I believe, is the tip of an arrow. And if it's not dealt with properly, then the rest of the arrow comes into your life. And so if it starts with disappointment, but it very quickly leads to being discouraged if you don't deal with it. And then from being discouraged, you become disillusioned. From disillusioned, you become depressed, and from depressed, you become defeated. But it all started with the tip, and the tip was just that slight disappointment. So you've got to learn to deal with it. Now, I reckon I've got a couple of things that I do that I'd love to share with you. Did you know in the Jewish culture, right now, as we all know, you know, the Jewish culture are quite prosperous people, most of them, right? They do very well in business. They're very smart people, seem to stay on top of things. I just discovered this recently. You know, in the Jewish culture, they really hold a strong belief about disappointment. And this is it. You know, in Hebrew, there is no such word as disappointment.
Really?
It doesn't exist. Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Wow.
There's no word for disappointment. And, you know, we've created that word in the English language, right? But, you know, disappointment has got a prefix and a suffix, right? The prefix is the dis, the suffix is the ment, but the word in between is appointment. Right? Yeah. And the reason why they don't have a word for disappointment, because to dis means to undo or to not have. Right? That's what this means. Disappointment. They don't believe that you can be unappointed. You can't be disappointed. In other words, if something is destined to happen to you, no one can disappoint that.
Okay.
Yeah. If you've got an appointment with me, okay, nothing can disappoint that. And so that's what they believe. So in other words, whatever happens, hey, there's a plan. There's a purpose. It's going to be okay. I'm still destined for success. And that's what the Hebrews believe because there's no word for disappointment.
I love it.
Isn't that powerful?
It's
and
so
when you
good.
start to believe that, you know, I mean, you know, I'm obviously someone that has a deep faith in God, and I just believe that whatever God has appointed for my life is going to happen. And even though sometimes things happen that look like it's my career, my future has been disappointed, it hasn't been disappointed. I'm still on track. Yeah. I'm just going to go down a different one. That's all. But I'm still going to get there. And I think that's just, it's a mindset. It's a mindset. Don't allow it to penetrate your heart because it does bring in all those other things right behind it. Obviously leading all the way to defeat.